Hello, my name is Abbie O'Steen, and I'm a senior writing communications major here at ABAC, and I'm excited today to present my capstone project, Wonder Woman Through the Male Gaze. My project looks directly at the gender role issue of heroines in comics, with the American comic icon Wonder Woman as the framework character for my argument. I will seek to uncover if women only get starring roles in order to fit classic male gaze tropes and for male pleasure. Okay. So Wonder Woman was the brainchild of psychologist William Moulton Marston. He believed that women should rule the world. He envisioned her as, quote, psychological propaganda for the new type of woman who should rule the world. This was during World War II, a time when women were being called into factories and out of the domestic space. Marston, alongside artist H.G. Peter, gave us Diana, Princess of Themyscira, a warrior sculpted from clay, gifted life by the gods, with a lasso that compelled the truth. Marston also invented the lie detector, so truth was central to both his comic and his science. The comic medium itself plays a crucial role in Wonder Woman's message. Comic language is much more than pow, bam, wow, as Duncan and Smith describe in The Power of Comics. It's a unique fusion of image, typography, and narrative pacing that shapes character identity and emotion. In early comics, Wonder Woman's speech was formal and commanding, designed to contrast with the colloquial tones of male characters, reinforcing her authority and outsider status. Her lasso became a visual motif for truth. Her speech bubbles, bold and centered, emphasized female agency. From the start, Wonder Woman symbolized women's strength, but this symbolism was challenged, adapted, and even watered down over time. We see here that during the 1970s movement, the feminist movement reclaimed her. She appeared on the inaugural cover of Miss Magazine in 1972 with the headline, Wonder Woman for President. This moment, as Taddeo explains, marked her rebirth as a feminist icon, aligning her again with liberation, equality, and strength. Linda Carter's portrayal on television from 1975 to 1979 further solidified this legacy. Her character was not only capable, but compassionate, showing that feminine strength could exist outside of male-dominated narratives. As Marston once said, not even girls want to be girls, as long as our feminine archetype lacks strength, force, and power. Wonder Woman has always worn patriotism like a second skin. The red, white, and blue with stars was never subtle, but it was also nuanced. Unlike Superman, who was born into American values, Wonder Woman chooses America, highlighting a common American ideal. As I argue in my paper, she represents not blind nationalism, but a thoughtful commitment to America's highest principles, truth, justice, and equality. Even her theme song in the 1970s made it clear, in your satin tights, fighting for your rights, and the old red, white, and blue. This wasn't just about punching Nazis, even though that definitely was a plus. It was about advocating for women's rights, as those lyrics so clearly hint at it. The costume has changed from shorts to armor, but the symbolism remains. According to Simonson and DC CoverGirls, Wonder Woman's bracelets represent liberation from bondage, while her lasso of truth symbolizes power through honesty, rather than violence. Her tiara, a boomerang-like weapon. Her boots, built for battle. While many female heroes wear impractical outfits, Wonder Woman's costume has always tried to balance strength and femininity, though not without controversy. So you may be asking, what is the male gaze? Why is this important, and what in the world does it have to do with Wonder Woman? The male gaze is a feminist media theory coined by film theorist Laura Mulvey in her 1975 essay, Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema. It refers to the way visual media, films, television, advertisement, and comics are often constructed from a heterosexual male perspective, presenting women as objects of desire rather than as full autonomous subjects. Mulvey explains, in a world ordered by sexual imbalance, pleasure in looking has been split between active male and passive female. Kate Caffrey further explains the male gaze in the Salem Press Encyclopedia. She says, the male gaze is a way of looking at women that turns them into sexual objects for the pleasure of the viewer, usually male. When we look back at Wonder Woman's early comic book history, especially in the 1950s, and again in the hypersexualized 1990s to 2000s era, the influence of the male gaze is impossible to ignore. Her costume was increasingly skimpier, her camera poses were definitely suggestive, and her poses were more contorted. Her narratives were often also reduced to either romantic subplots or narrative fantasies involving bondage. Odd, right? Jessica Marcus highlights the tension in Wonder Woman's costume as a site for feminist debate. She says, her costume has always signified a conflicted duality, all at once representing a tool of empowerment and an object of sexual spectacle. This dynamic wasn't just limited to comics. In television and animation, the camera often lingered on her legs, her chest, her waist, framing her strength through a lens of sexual spectacle. She wasn't just fighting crime, she was often fighting it in heels, a strapless corset, and perfectly curled hair and makeup, no matter how tough the battle. While the male gaze dominates feminist theory, my research also explores a less discussed concept, the lesbian gaze. The lesbian gaze shifts the focus from consumption to connection. In this part of my research, I had to question, is the sexualization of female superheroes always for men, or can women, particularly queer women, find empowerment, attraction, or solidarity in these portrayals? This theory is not about domination or control, but rather understanding and sharing feminine agency. Scholar W.H. Phillips notes in Film, an introduction, that gender expression in film is often confined by heteronormative assumptions. By examining Wonder Woman through a queer lens, we begin to see how power, vulnerability, and even desire can be reinterpreted outside traditional binaries. Phillips explains, the lesbian gaze provides a counterpoint to heteronormative looking, allowing women to see other women not as rivals or as objects, but as objects of desire and connection. Wonder Woman's origins actually uniquely position her for this type of gaze. Raised in an all-female society, Themyscira, Diana grows up without male influence, male standards of beauty, or male definitions of femininity. Her worldview is built on female authority, non-sexualized strength, and mutual respect. In 2016, Wonder Woman comic writer Greg Rucka confirmed what many fans had long believed. Sure, Diana has been in love and had relationships with other women. It's just logical, it's Themyscira. This was a significant moment, not because it redefined Wonder Woman, but because it confirmed a gaze that had always been there, even if media had tried to refuse it. In this framework, Wonder Woman isn't just a sex symbol. She becomes a symbol of queer longing, female admiration, and shared strength. Her beauty isn't weaponized for male pleasure, but rather becomes a source of comfort and connection. So you may ask, why do the gaze conversations matter? Understanding these gazes matters because it reveals how representation is shaped, not just by who's on screen, but by who controls the frame. Wonder Woman is powerful, but how that power is depicted can either reinforce patriarchal control or challenge it. Is she being looked at, or is she doing the looking? And more importantly, who is she looking back at? In the male gaze, Wonder Woman becomes an object. In the lesbian gaze, she becomes the subject. And when that shift happens, the audience, usually female and queer viewers, stop seeing her as a fantasy and start envisioning her as a reflection. So, after looking into these theories, the question must be asked: are female roles in media just for male gratification and to satisfy classic male gaze tropes? The answer is they have been, but they don't have to be. Wonder Woman's journey proves that female characters in media have long been shaped by the male gaze. Whether that's through revealing costumes, exaggerated body proportions, or camera angles that prioritize sex appeal over strength. As Kafri points out, the male gaze has historically functioned to objectify women. But Wonder Woman also offers a powerful counterpoint. Through feminist reinterpretations, queer readings, and creators like Jenkins and Rucka, the character has been reclaimed as a subject, not an object, an icon of agency, not eye candy. So the real challenge isn't why media includes female leads. It's how those women are framed. Who gets to tell their stories, and who controls the lens? Because when women are given the chance to be more than just fantasies, when they're written, directed, and viewed as whole people, we don't just break the male gaze, we rewrite the narrative entirely. Thank you. I actually grew up watching Wonder Woman. My mom was a 1970s kid, and so I've always just really liked it. And Dr. Klessman, who helped me with this capstone, she mentioned that she wanted somebody to do a look into comics, and so I just decided to do this one. I'm actually not very familiar with like current DC films. I did watch the 2017 Wonder Woman film that was directed by Patty Jenkins. That one, I would say there was no gaze. It just focused on her being like strength and like kicking butt, honestly. It didn't really have anything to do with gaze. It was more about winning a battle. She wasn't sexualized in that film, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.